Hola, and welcome to season 9 of the Latina Leadership Podcast. I am your host and founder, Angelica Casares. On this season, we're changing things up a little bit. So I have something here that I want to read to you. We are doing things just a little bit differently here on season 9, thanks to your support and listenership. I am happy to share that we are growing here at the Latina Leadership Podcast. And to express our gratitude for your ongoing support, we want to do our part to continue bringing you even more valuable stories, ideas, conversations, and yes, even awareness to important issues affecting our communities directly. Maternal health is at the top of that list for me and all of us here at the Latina Leadership Podcast. This season, we're dedicating a new special format of video essays to this very conversation, to the shared responsibility we have of ensuring healthy moms and strong babies. We're going to talk to experts and discuss this subject matter on the importance of the closures that have been happening to the birthing centers, the workforce shortages, the importance of folic acid, especially for pregnant women, and the impact of Medicaid policy changes. I can't wait to share this special series with you. So ladies, get comfortable and enjoy the conversation. First, I had a conversation with Dr. Silvia Moscoso. She is an experienced obstetrician gynecologist, OBGYN, with over 27 years in the medical field. Graduated from New York Medical College, specializes in OBGYN and family practices. She is one of the doctors with Alivio Medical Center. And we had an amazing conversation. So let's allow her to introduce herself.
Soy doctora Moscoso, Silvia Moscoso, obstetrics and gynecology here in the Chicago area. And I am currently at Alivio Medical Center. We have various clinics in the Chicago area serving the community, including patients with insurance and without insurance.
Next, I talked to Juvisa Rodriguez, a seasoned public health care leader with over 15 years experiencing crafting impactful bilingual health education and initiatives. She is with the March of Dimes as a senior director of consumer health at March of Dimes. She spearheads cross-functional strategies to engage and equip individuals and their families with vital health information. This video essay is going to go in and out with those conversations of these amazing ladies. So I'm going to leave it to Mrs. Rodriguez to introduce herself.
In a nutshell, I like to always say that I am a public health professional with over 15 years of experience working in this field. I have primarily focused my work at the intersections of health communications and maternal infant health. So I currently serve as the senior director for consumer health at March of Dimes, which is a leading national nonprofit, maternal health-centered nonprofit. And there I lead the strategy for bilingual health education offerings and messaging.
At 22.2 million, Latinas account for 70% of all adult women in the U.S. today, growing by 5.6 million from 2010 to 2022. This being the largest numeric increase of any major female, racial, and ethnic group. Research has shown that some women in the U.S. do not get enough folic acid or fortified folate to help prevent neural tube defect, also known as NTD.
And so the reason why folic acid is so important during pregnancy is because it is known to prevent neural tube defects. Like it has a very high, success rate of doing that.
In 1998, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration mandated that all enriched cereal, grains, and products be fortified with folic acid. Certain groups of high-risk Hispanic women are not reached by current folic acid fortification of wheat and other cereal grain products simply because it is not what they consume. Corn masa flour, as I'll be mentioning it from now on, CMF. CMF is used to make many corn products that are a diet staple of many Hispanic groups, was not included in this regulation or this mandate. 50% of pregnancies are unexpected and unplanned. Since the mandate of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, so that's a 35 overall reduction in occurrence of neural tube defect after the mandatory folic acid fortification in the United States.
The reason why folic acid intake is so important, aside from obviously the prevention and the reduction of the risk, is that you have to take it in the first few weeks of pregnancy when a lot of people may not know that they're actually even pregnant.
Now, ladies, this would be the part in which the conversations geared towards prevention, as Dr. Moscoso will explain to you a little bit about the conversations she has with women.
So, for example, when you come in for a general checkup, we talk about just taking a multivitamin. Of course, there are a lot of nutrients in a multivitamin, so it's recommended to take a multivitamin. And then the conversation will be, especially in reproductive age, if you are considering pregnancy, going through the history and physical of the patient in terms of the risk factors. If the patient were to become pregnant, these are the risk factors or what medications would the patient be able to continue certain medications that they are on, considering that there's a chance that she can get pregnant in the future? So those are the things that are done during a general gynae exam. A good history, a good physical, a good review of all medications, a good review of immunizations that the patient has or may need, prior to pregnancy or is planning on having, that may or may not be a good idea to have it if the patient is possibly pregnant or will get pregnant in the near future. So that conversation is what we call kind of a pre-counseling pregnancy, or really just a general gynae exam for patients in reproductive age. I think education is the key for patients.
That's right. Prevention is key because by the time you find out you are pregnant, baby's neural tube is already closed. Now, Hispanic women are more likely to have a child with NDT than non-Hispanic white or Black women, and less likely to know the benefits of or consume folic acid than women of other race and ethnic groups. Hispanic women have lower levels of folate in their blood and are more likely to have a gene variant known as MTHFR-C677T. This mutation is relatively common among Hispanic descent carrying the variant. That is about 47%. To counter the effects of this mutation, it can be done by taking multivitamin that contains folic acid. Now, I'm mentioning this now because we're going to dive deeper into that conversation of that mutation or that variant in the gene later. As mentioned, this is a 3-part, so you'll see it on the next episode. So why folic acid? Well, it's the only fortified form of folate that the body has an easier time of absorbing. Folic acid is much more important for determining blood folate levels than having this MTHF gene variant. Studies have shown that getting 400 micrograms of folic acid daily can increase blood folate levels, regardless of those genotypes. Now we'll let Dr. Moscoso tell you a little bit about what the daily intake is, and also Ms. Rodriguez, who also can follow up with that.
So it's recommended 4 micrograms or 0.4 milligrams of folic acid. And usually what's recommended is pre-counseling to have a general checkup, talk with your doctor, any medical problems, any medications you're taking. And as part of that counseling, also to be up to date on your immunizations, part of the counseling to start on folic acid. Because what happens is in early development, the spinal cord and part of the brain develops very early. And so it is recommended to take that right away as soon as a patient is deciding to become pregnant.
If you can get pregnant, even if you don't think that you're going to go and plan a pregnancy right away, the best thing is to always just take a vitamin supplement that has at least 400 micrograms of folic acid in it, because that's the number that we know, right? And that research shows is effective.
I will mention about the folic acid that the abnormalities that can happen would be abnormalities in the spinal cord and also in the brain. For example, abnormality in formation of the lip, of the palate, which we call cleft lip, cleft palate, anencephaly, which is abnormality of formation of the brain, and also spina bifida, which is abnormality of the spine.
Now let's touch a little bit on the financial burdens associated with caring for an infant of neural tube defect throughout their lifetime. On average, it can almost be $800,000. And yes, that is the financial burden of baby being born with such a condition, such as spina bifida. In 2006, a group of partners came together to discuss how they could collaborate to address this disparity. The discussion resulted in the benefits of the addition of folic acid to CMF, that's corn masa flour for women of childbearing age, and particularly Mexican Americans, as they are the largest subgroup of Hispanics in the U.S. There are approximately 7.5 million Mexican American women of childbearing age in the U.S. alone. The added folic acid to corn masa flour is predicted to raise the average of intake by 20% among Mexican Americans and by 42% of Mexican American women who do not take a daily vitamin supplement or eat fortified cereal or any other fortified foods. Folic acid being added to corn masa flour is estimated that a close to about 500,000 additional Mexican American women would achieve the daily recommended folic acid intake of 400 micrograms. Folic acid added to corn masa flour eliminates the need for women to make any behavioral changes. As you know, corn is a staple in Mexican culture. As a matter of fact, 60% of Mexico's agriculture production is dedicated to corn. So for us, it's history. It's a staple. It's cultural. How cultural? Let me explain it to you. Mesoamerican staple corn is maize, clearly shown by mythical traditions. In Aztec mythology, the deity known as Teotl, you're going to have to excuse me on that pronunciation, is the maize deity, considered to be one of the most important deities of Aztec era. Critical next steps include ensuring that corn masa flour with folic acid is available locally, regionally, that serves the Hispanic community that consume these products. A recent analysis from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention found that since this allowance was granted, there has not been a significant improvement of blood folate levels among Hispanic women of reproductive age who currently have the highest risk of having a baby affected by NTD. This must now go beyond education and awareness. Implementation should be the next step. So, as the CDC continues to monitor trends in folate levels, consumptions, knowledges, practices among women using different surveys and research methods, I say this: we need your help. So, with that being said, I did get some information off the websites of the CDC. They do have some very important web information that can be done. I think information is very much important. It's in Spanish, it's in English, but here's the thing. We need change. Change was made. Fortified folic acid was mandatory to be added to cereal. And yes, that's every cereal in the form of folic acid. Now, there are other ways that you can add folate in some other form. I think in some other vitamin. I'm not really too sure with that one, but I know the easiest way and the best way to obtain folate into your body is a fortified method of folic acid. With that being said, every cereal down the cereal aisle, every cereal. Remember when I told you there was a group that went in to have this very distinct conversation about the effects of folic acid among the Hispanic community? Walmart was one of those. Their white label, great value, has exactly what you need. Corn masa flour is sort of suggested. It's not applied as mandatory. It's suggested. Well, let me show you, right? So I was like, there's no way. Now, and sure enough, all of this I had to buy because we don't eat this. This is instant hot wheat cereal. Sure enough, folate. Right? And I was like, okay. And I kept going down that aisle. Let me check Pop-Tarts. Ladies and gentlemen, folate. Okay, they got me. Let me go down the Hispanic aisle. You know that section? That's the ethnic aisle. Let me go see what the additives of fortified folic acid is included. I picked up a few more brands to see if it has it. Again, this is recommended, not mandatory like the cereal. Nada. Grabbed a couple for my kitchen. Right? I mean, you have zero net carbs. It's gluten-free. I have something to say about that. It's gluten-free. It's kosher. It's kosher. No folate. You can make the tortilla kosher. We can add folate. Popular brands, of course. Here we are again. Nada. No folate. This is in my kitchen. So I went to my one that I know, the white label of great value. Walmart's. Here it is, added. Folate at 27 micrograms. This pack is huge. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a staple in the Hispanic community, especially among Mexican Americans. This right here for a family of 4, what would you say? About a week and a half, maybe, right? We're talking chilaquiles, tacos, quesadillas, con huevo, with everything. We eat tortillas con todo. This is what we make. Mis tamales is something that's done in Mexico to make tortillas. And they did a research there in Mexico, and they added folic acid to nixtamal, and they actually seen that there wasn't much of a change, I guess, in taste or like what the consumption of it was. There was no real complaints. There was nothing really there, and the study also showed that yes, if you add the recommended amount, it reduces down to 20% of the folic acid that you need on a daily. It's a whole thing. It's a whole conversation. It's going to be on this 3-part series. Ladies and gentlemen, please wait for that one, because I want to get into the nitty gritty of those scientists who did these research studies, who did all of these things. That's coming. But to say that, great value brand, Folate. Popular brand that we all pick up, no folate. This is the difference between recommended and mandated. A lot of these have gluten-free, certified gluten-free. And I thought to myself, I was like, does folate affect gluten? I looked it up on Google. I did a quick Google search. Again, I'm going to talk to the experts. Did a quick Google search. My understanding, it's not. And I was like, you know what? There has to be something somewhere that I know that it's not. Hold on. This I bought a couple of months ago, thinking to myself, I'm going to be healthy, gluten-free. I'm going to get that nutritional yeast into my belly because I need it. Okay. Gluten-free folate, which means, my understanding, folate doesn't affect such a thing like gluten-free. So adding it to the foods that we already eat, we don't have to change our behaviors of what we already eat to be able to have the amazing intake of folic acid to be able to birth healthy children. With that, I'll leave you. So we are here advocating for more fortified corn masa flour products across America to implement this. Ladies, I'm going to dive even deeper, so stay tuned. Really do hope you enjoyed this episode. So again, thank you to the amazing group that put together this review article for prevention medicine of folate among the Hispanic women and implementing folic acid into corn masa flour. That goes to Walmart, March of Dimes, and Unidos US. With that being said, I do want to talk to you a little bit about Alivio Medical Center. It provides essential healthcare services to underserved communities in the Chicago area, especially the Latino population, which is why I wanted to have this amazing conversation with Dr. Moscoso. They offer a wide range of services, including primary care, women's health, dental care, and mental health services. Focuses on culturally competent care, addressing the unique needs of immigrant families. Recognized as a vital healthcare provider within the Illinois area, particularly low-income and minority population, they collaborate with states and state health initiatives, contributing to public health campaigns, playing crucial roles in maternal health and preventative care at the state level. Thank you. All right, ladies, I'll see you part 2 of this series.